Welcome in, everyone, to Football Friday, presented by Football Addicts Anonymous. Our first YouTube show, live show here. So, I'm trying to figure things out. Welcome in, everyone, to Football Friday, presented by Football Addicts Anonymous. Our first it went into the stream on the Safari app. So, there we go. Anyways, so we're trying YouTube out here. Definitely something new to me, but have a lot of stuff going on this week, man. We're getting close to the new league year, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. We have one game to go over that happened last night. Bunch of news, 3 pages worth of news. Some previews for the FCS weekend, and then our edge rush rankings. And we'll have Rob KQ on, familiar face from earlier in the podcast's life. Rob KQ will be on talking about edge rushers with us later. Mark may or may not be on. We'll see. He was having an interview before this, so we'll see if he comes on later or not. But before we get into the game recap that was last night, I know we posted about it this past week, but here is our store. It is on teespring.com. I can send the custom link, actually the link is in on our Facebook page. As well as I think I put it on Twitter and Instagram as well. But we have St. Patrick's Day stuff. We have both 4-leaf clover designs and shamrock designs, whichever you prefer. And also we have our classic FAA stuff here down at the bottom as well. I think I might be only on the St. Patrick's Day stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. When I went on mobile, it pulled everything up even after I clicked on the St. Patrick's Day only. So
there we go. There's some of our classic FAA stuff there. But yeah, totally designed by me. So if you don't like it, let me know. If you like to see something different, let us know as well. I personally think my best design is actually the leggings for the ladies. I think I don't know. I think that design is the best one I did. Kind of tearing it down, the legs there. But yeah, that is our shop. A lot of good stuff on there.
I know we talked about it this past week, but I just ordered some stuff off of there. I got a couple sweatshirts and the phone case, so waiting for those to come in, and then I can model it off for people when I get it in.
Yeah, and I actually made sure it should come in quicker now because I kind of force printed the stuff. So usually there's a 3-day cycle of printing, but I kind of made it so that it would go quickly. I wanted to get my St. Patrick's Day stuff quicker, considering it's pretty quick. You're gonna have to pay for rush shipping if you want your St. Patrick's Day stuff by St. Patrick's Day, which I did. It was $6 to get it by this coming Monday, which isn't bad. Isn't terrible. So
no, not bad at all.
But let's get into the show here. And we did have one game last night, ranked matchup. I thought it was pretty good. I was watching it simultaneously while the Penguins blew a 3-0 lead to the Flyers, which was great. But number 4, North Dakota continued its undefeated season so far, 3-0 now, beating number 20 South Dakota 21-10. Quarterbacks were okay. nothing too spectacular there. But my Instagram live story was almost spot on. Otis Weah, Luke Skokna, the running backs for UND. Skokna, not as much. He did have 54 yards. But Otis Weah, I mean, he is absolutely fantastic. Chris, if you want to talk about this one, just your thoughts on the stats here. I forgot to get my notes on Otis Weah, so I'm going to go get those real quick. It'll be back in 30 seconds.
Yeah. So, these quarterbacks, like Rusty was saying, they had an all right game. Not the best, obviously. You see the couple interceptions there. And, I mean, Schuster had over 200 yards, but yeah, the story here was the running backs, like Rusty was saying, and he'll give you the stats on them in a second as soon as he gets readjusted there.
Yeah, so Otis Weah, this kid is only a sophomore. I mean, he is, and he's having a fantastic season for the Fighting Hawks, I believe they are, of North Dakota. My notes on him, though, as far as scouting goes, great contact balance, powerful through arm tackles. He's definitely a one-cut runner. Great vision. He usually finds the cutback pretty easily. Big play waiting to happen. Very explosive. And then excellent acceleration through the hole, which we saw last night. Almost every time he touched the ball, it was 8, 9, 10 yards gain. And yeah, I mean, he was literally the story of the game. And I don't really know. I was working as this game kicked off, and I kind of picked it up in the middle of the second quarter. So at that point, it was 7-3 North Dakota, and I'm not sure. I didn't see the play that Quincy Vaughn threw to Adam Zavalny. So I don't know if that was a trick play or if Schuster had to come out for a play. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, and another good win for North Dakota. I mean, they are, like I said before, this is their first year in the Missouri Valley. And they look like they could win the whole conference. I mean, they do still have to play North Dakota State, but they've already beaten South Dakota State. South Dakota, I don't think was that great to begin with. But yeah, Otis Weah is a small dude. He's if he continues his production the next couple of seasons, whether he, ends up transferring to a FBS school or not, he's going to end up coming out as a Maurice Jones-Drew type guy. 5'8", 210. So he's a bowling ball.
Yeah.
Just like myself, 2 inches shorter and 5 pounds, 7 pounds lighter. But yeah, I'm in love with Otis Weah. And he's kind of the second guy that I fell in love with this year so far in FCS. We talked about Mark Gronowski last week for South Dakota State. So I love the Missouri Valley Conference. I think there's a lot of good teams in it. And yeah, we'll have to see what the rest of the weekend shows us here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what these guys can do. Obviously, each week you've been kind of highlighting a different player, so let's see if you're right on this, Otis Weah.
Let's hope so. North Dakota covered -7. I had them at -6 in a parlay, so that leg has obviously hit. Well, let's hope to hit the rest of them. Under 48 hit in that one. Alrighty. Let's go to the NFL news. So we'll start off on a bad note. We'll start with the bad news first. Former Browns, Bucks, Patriots, and Jets tight end Kellen Winslow II sentenced to 14 years in prison. The charges, he was convicted of forcible rape of an unconscious person, assault with intent to commit rape, indecent exposure, and lewd conduct in public. Originally, he could have gotten 18 years, but they reduced one of the charges. I think it was the assault with intent to commit rape. I think that was the one that they lessened. So it knocked 4 years off, but still 14 years. For a guy that was okay. I mean, he wasn't like, all world, but he made a couple Pro Bowls.
Yeah. I mean, I think I can speak with experience for this guy, being that he was a Jet. Yeah, he was a decent player for the Jets when he was there for, I can't remember if it was 2 seasons or 1 season, however long he was there, but he did have a good career as a Jet for those however many years he was there. But yeah, he did. I think everybody knew, even when he was playing, that he had off the field issues, but I don't think anybody knew at that point what they actually were. But clearly, they were severe off the field things that he was going through.
Yeah, and they spanned all the way back to before he was even in the NFL. I think the earliest one was 2003. I read that he assaulted a girl when he was 19 and she was 17. So, yeah, definitely good that he's going to be behind bars. But yeah, he apparently his lawyer tried to plead insanity with the concussions that he had during his playing career. But that's the role of a lawyer. Anyways, back to football. So a couple retirements here. And I didn't really know this was coming, and we talked about him. This wasn't this week. No, we talked about it last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But Chiefs fullback Anthony Sherman is retiring. I don't know if you saw his Twitter video, Chris.
No.
It was pretty cool. He's actually going to be a deputy sheriff. Yeah. He's going to be a cop after his playing career. And he literally took off in a helicopter after as a sheriff's office helicopter there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Other retirements, 2 guys that are retiring together. Washington football team cut linebacker Thomas Davis. This week, it was a formality considering he was going to retire anyways, but he and tight end Greg Olsen both going to retire as Panthers on March 11th. I'm looking forward to that. Definitely 2 guys that my time as a Panthers fan, big influences there in Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say that they were both pretty big parts of the Panthers a couple years ago. They were both there for the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they were both a big part of the fact that they made it there. So
yeah,
it's cool to see them go back to, I mean, Olsen didn't start there, right? But
no,
he spent most of his career there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's good to see 2 of those guys that were so important to that team go back to retire.
Yeah. Yeah. Olsen's best years were in Carolina. Wasn't as great in Chicago where he got drafted. But all right. Some NFL league news. We had pass interference reviewable a couple of seasons ago. Didn't work out very well. Now there are talks that roughing the passer could be reviewable coming up. I haven't heard anything other than just that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it. I mean, I think roughing the passer is definitely less of a, I think it's easier to call.
Yeah.
When you look at it in slow motion.
I don't know. I mean, I just think that, like, I kind of thought this back when they did the thing with the pass interference, but I think that instead of singling out certain penalties, either don't make any of them reviewable or make them all reviewable.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I feel like this is just going to be the same thing that happened with the pass interference calls, where I don't know how many games that season. I don't even know if there was any games that season that didn't have a challenge on a pass interference call.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's just going to take up unnecessary time and all that, and just hold up the games. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I like I said, I kind of like it. I think it's, like I said, easier. It's the rules are more set in stone on what is and isn't roughing the passer. Any hit to the helmet, anything below the knees or knees and below, forcible contact there is also roughing the passer. So, the thing that's going to have it, the issues that the refs are going to have, though, I think the biggest one is late hits roughing the passer.
Mm-hmm.
Because can you really tell on review if the guy was late or not?
Yeah. But again, I'm trying to go back to a couple seasons ago when they did the pass interference penalties. But were the coaches able to challenge no flag? Like, if there wasn't a flag, they were able to challenge saying it was pass interference, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if they would do that here, or if it would be you can only challenge the call of a flag or the call of a penalty, which I think that would be a better solution than challenging if you thought there was a penalty when it wasn't called.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I still agree with Belichick. I think everything should be reviewed, able to be reviewed. If you're gonna risk your timeouts, let the coaches lose their timeouts if they're gonna throw the challenge flag a lot. I think if they let everything be reviewable, within a couple of years, you would see less challenges being thrown because coaches don't want to lose their timeouts on stupid challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, that would get more jobs for the analytics guys.
Yeah.
The decision makers that are in the coach's ear, like, challenge yes, challenge no. But yeah. Also, the NFL, they finalized their adjustments / carryovers from 2020 to 2021 cap. So essentially what adjustments, carryovers, it's how much cap you didn't use previous year, add that on to this year's cap. So it gives you added cap space in the next year. So the Browns have the highest, 29.4 million rolled over from 2020. And somehow I don't understand how this happens, but the Bucks had the lowest. They were the only team with a negative number minus 448,000. Again, I don't know how that works, how you roll over a negative, but they're going to lose 448,000 on their 2021 cap, which they definitely cannot afford to do, considering they have to resign. But yeah, my teams, the Eagles, they were actually one of the higher ones, almost 24.5 million. Steelers for almost 5 million. Panthers 4 million. Chris, your Jets around 28 million, 28.1 almost. Second highest, I believe.
Yeah. I'll take. Yeah, they the first year of Joe Douglas, he was smart. He didn't spend a lot on free agents, so I was expecting a big number to roll over. Didn't realize it was going to be that big, but yeah.
Yeah, the Cowboys also in the 20s, 27, almost 27 and a half. Jacksonville as well, 26.7. And then no other team was in the 20s.
Wait, so for the lesser knowledgeable fans out there, so the number that rolls over, does that mean that those teams that got like 20 plus million, they could spend over 200 million now?
Yeah. So if the cap is set at 180 million, the Browns would now have a adjusted cap number of 209 million.
Yeah, I was just I thought that was what it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I just wanted to throw that out there for the other fans out there.
Yeah, definitely. That's why you can see on websites like Spot Track and Over the Cap, they have a column that says adjusted cap. That's why it's different for every team. So the Bucks are going to be 179 points. But yeah, still waiting on the actual cap numbers. I still don't understand how they can start the franchise tag window and not have the cap set. But that's the NFL for you. One kind of random player news here. Free agent tight end Delaney Walker, formerly of the Titans and Niners. He's intending to play in 2020. He didn't play last year. I don't remember if that was from opt-outs or injury. But it feels like it's been a million years since.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Delaney Walker wants to play in 2021. He's in his mid-30s now, I believe. I think he's somewhere around 35.
Yeah, I think he's like 34, 35, something like that. But yeah, in his prime, he was one of the best tight ends in the league. But obviously, I think he's a little past that at this point. Especially after sitting out the year, he might be a little rusty at going into the 2021 season. But I think he'd be a decent number 2 for somebody.
Yeah, I agree. I think he can come in and play a role, probably on a contender. I would think he would want to go to. The Packers need a tight end, right? They need a 2. I mean, unless you believe in Jay Sternberger as the 2.
Hey, what about going to Kansas City and matching up with Kelsey over there?
Yeah, it's an option. All righty, let's get into releases, restructures, and free agent signings for some guys that had gotten released already and are able to sign right away. Also, some franchise tags as well at the end here. But we'll start off in Miami. The Dolphins looking to trade linebacker Kyle Van Noy. if they can't get a trade, he's going to be released. $9.75 million in cap space will be cleared off the books. And that's just 1 year into a 4-year, $51 million deal for the Dolphins.
Well, wait. So what happened there? Because I thought I heard a couple days ago that he was being released. I never heard anything about him being traded.
Yeah, someone said he was going to be released. I know I did in our Dynasty chat.
No, and I thought I saw it on Twitter somewhere too. So that's on. I never saw anything about the trade though.
But yeah, they said they're going to try to trade him before they release him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to bite or not.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to try to take on that. What is it? 3 years, $30-something million.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I think the trade market's about to heat up soon, coming down to free agency. The Chargers also are shopping. They are looking to move guard Trey Turner, and he could be traded or released soon. He's due $11.5 million this year, which I don't think is too bad for a guard, especially of Trey Turner's caliber.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the Panthers trade back, trade for him again.
yeah. I was thinking that when I saw that part of the script there, I was like, isn't that the guy that they had just gotten from the Panthers like a year or two ago? And yeah, I could see him going back there to Carolina. But I think he's still got a lot left, so he's gonna definitely, wherever he goes, he's going to help out whatever team he goes to.
Yeah, I mean, he's an all-pro guard. I mean, like I said, last year when that trade went down, player for player, Russell Okung for Trey Turner, I was like, what are the Panthers doing?
And that, I
Russell
mean, it didn't
Okung,
really work out for either team, but
yeah, I mean, but I still think the Panthers, especially, they have cap space to do it if they want to trade for him. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing him to New York because the Jets are desperate for some interior offensive linemen, especially a guard.
well, there's a guy that could just move across the building if they want him. The Giants also trying to move a guard, Kevin Zeitler. The Jags are doing the same, shopping guard Andrew Norwell. But both are expected to be released. Salaries are too high.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Zeitler ends up as a Jet because I know that seems to happen a lot, that teams that are released by one of those two teams ends up going to the other team. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that were to happen in this situation.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because you literally go into a whole different world when you switch from the Giants to the Jets or vice versa, going from one conference to the other. Completely different. Another lineman possibly getting traded. The Raiders are talking to teams about trading offensive tackle Trent Brown. Injuries hit him last year hard, but when healthy, I think he's one of the best right tackles in the league.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting to see all these big name offensive linemen that just recently got big contracts, and now they're all either getting cut or traded.
It's crazy. I mean, yeah. I mean, someone I think I saw on Twitter called the upcoming weeks a massacre of veteran players because teams just can't afford them.
Mm-hmm.
Reduce cap, you got to make cuts. So the couple releases here, the Vikings, they released tight end Kyle Rudolph. This is after 10 years in Minnesota.
He's been in the league 10 years already? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Long time for Kyle Rudolph. Luckily, the Vikings have had their transition plan for the last 2 years in Irv Smith Jr. So they are already set at the tight end position. They're starting tight end position, anyways. We'll have to see how that shakes out. Irv Smith taking on a bigger role, because I haven't seen him be an all-world tight end yet. So,
I mean, who knows? They could still bring in another guy that would kind of lessen the load on Irv Smith. So I don't know who that would be off the top of my head, but maybe they're a team that could maybe bring in Delaney Walker, like we were talking about before. Who knows?
this is true. Other releases here. The Niners, their starting center. He was their starting center, anyways. Weston Richburg. He had hip surgery recently. Likely to be released. He has a $8.35 million salary for 2021. So he's probably done in San Fran. But he's a guy, coming off hip surgery, that's tough. But he's a guy that could be one of those veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Takes either, the minimum or a lower than market value contract and works out very well for a team.
Oh, yeah.
The Saints, obviously, they have a lot of work to do, but they started doing that this week, releasing tight ends Jared Cook and Josh Hill. Josh Hill, a long-time Saint. I'm pretty sure he's been within his whole career, as far as I know.
I believe so, yeah.
Jared Cook was going to be a free agent anyways, but they just released him for formality.
So, yeah, I was wondering about that too. Like, does that save them any extra money or anything, or like, why bother releasing him if he's going to be a free agent?
I don't know why they do it now. I'll talk about it in a couple minutes with another guy, because his explanation was actually said on the tweet that I read about it. But yeah, I'm not sure the circumstances of Jared Cook. So sometimes it's just the team wanting to give the player a chance, like the Texans did with JJ Watt, to find his team before free agency kicks off, and he has all these other players to compete with. I don't know that's necessarily the thing that the Saints did, though. Also, though, it could have been because they need the money now.
Yeah.
Because you have to be below the salary cap at March 17th. March 17th at 4 o'clock. You got to be under the salary cap. I don't know what happens if you're not. I really don't. I've never seen it happen, so I don't know what happens.
Do you have the numbers on the Saints in terms of how much they got rolled over?
Rollover? They had almost $3 million.
All right, so that's hardly anything then. That doesn't really help them. So yeah, they still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, just kind of checking the current numbers on over the cap right now. I only have 2 bars in my apartment, so it's not going very well. But anyways, we'll let that try to load anyways and move on here. Giants also making some cuts. Wide receiver Golden Tate and linebacker David Mayo. Mayo, I was surprised. I thought they really liked David Mayo at the middle linebacker position or inside linebacker. They do have Blake Martinez, who I know they like a lot as well. So, but yeah, not sure how much Golden Tate has left. He sucked with the Eagles his one season in Philadelphia. I didn't think he was anything special with the Giants either.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, yeah, I feel like he hasn't really been that great since he left. Well, he was good in Detroit, but yeah, I don't know. He was good in Detroit and pretty good in Seattle too. But after those 2 teams, he hasn't really done much.
he was good in Detroit because he probably played with his best quarterback he ever played with, than Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Because he probably played with Russell Wilson, but he didn't have a big role in Seattle when he was there.
No. But hey, I mean, I agree with you that he doesn't really have a lot left, but maybe if he wanted to try to revitalize his career, he might try to latch on with LA and go with his former quarterback in Detroit. But because I think they could use another receiver there in LA, but who knows?
Yeah, but I don't think he's the right kind of receiver that they need. They need a speedster that can go over the top.
Mm.
I think he should go back to Detroit. I mean, they need receivers galore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, checking current cap numbers because my phone finally loaded. Over the cap has the Saints still sitting around 62 million over.
Jesus, that is a lot of money that they still have to get off the books.
Yeah, there's 9 teams that are still over the cap right now.
Yeah, but are the Saints the worst right now?
Yeah, they've always been the worst. They've always been.
Yeah. So
yeah, Rams are second worst at 35.1. Eagles at 33.9. Chiefs 22.8. Falcons 19.5. Packers 11.4. Bears almost 7 million. Lions at 6.8 and Vikings at 4.
wait, so what happens to a team if they're over the cap at the deadline?
Like I said, I don't know. I've never seen it.
Like, do they lose draft picks? Do they just have to pay an extra fee? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different considering the NFL is the only league with a hard cap in American sports. So, I don't know. It's somewhere in the CBA. I have no idea.
I mean, I obviously don't want to see it happen to the Saints because they are my second team there, but it's going to be tough to shave off $63 million to get under the cap.
Yeah. I don't know. We just spoke about the Lions. They're clearing some space. They're going to release corner Desmond Trufant at the start of the new league year, so he's not a free agent yet, but he will be come March 17th. Getting released a couple of days ago, the Seahawks released wide receiver Josh Gordon. His contract was set to expire anyways. But they released him so he could go play with Johnny Manziel and controlled football league. I forget what city it is, but I know it's the Zappers.
Yeah, I forget what team it was too, but that's just like that story couldn't get any better. The fact that 2 of like the biggest name cast-offs in recent years are now playing together in a like minor league league pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Johnny looked pretty good. I saw the one highlight a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but who's he playing with? I mean,
who's he playing against? That should read.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea. Fan controlled football. Sure. Chris, your Jets clearing some space here. Henry Anderson, defensive lineman, released. 8.2 million in cap space cleared up.
Yeah, I mean, this was I think a pretty good move. I mean, he had the one good year when they traded for him with Indy, and then that caused McHagnon to give him that extension that paid him pretty well, and he just hasn't really played well for the Jets after that. So I kind of was expecting this, and even though they don't really need the money because they have one of the top cap spaces in football right now. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him come back as like, or for a lot less money, but I don't know if he's going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, this clears up, some space. They want to go get a pass rusher, whose name starts with an S and ends with a keel. But yeah, that's who I would think the Jets should look at, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, they also have the draft capital to trade for somebody too, but I don't know if any of them are available right now. Like any good pass rushers are available via trade.
Yeah, Von Miller also could be out there coming up. We'll have to see how his situation shakes out in Denver.
Yep.
Another guy that's going to be a free agent here, punter Cam Johnston. Eagles not going to tender him. I believe he was restricted free agent, so that's why the tendering comes into play there. Not going to get tendered by Philadelphia, so he will be a free agent, and he'll have a good market. He is consistently in the top 5, probably even top 3. I don't know the exact statistics, but in net punt average, he has a booming leg, and I'm very sad that the Eagles are losing Cam Johnson, but the Eagles can't do it with the cap situation they're in right now. So another special teamer that is being released. The Cardinals are looking for a new kicker. Zane Gonzalez will be a free agent. He was going to be a free agent anyways, but they released him now. That one I saw on Twitter was because they placed him on IR. So that's why they had to release him or something. I have no idea or how it works, but yeah, that was sort of the reasoning of Zane Gonzalez's release at this point. I know you like Zane Gonzalez, Chris.
I mean, honestly, I think he's probably better than whatever the Jets do have right now, so I wouldn't mind him coming to New York right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where it said that Zane Gonzalez was being released to find the exact wording of his of why he was released this point versus just letting him be a free agent. And it's really far back. But yeah, I knew it was something along the lines of he was there we go. Here it is. Still a chance he could re-sign with Arizona. Long story short, this is from Mike Garafolo, NFL Network. He was slated to be a free agent anyway. It's a procedural move because they put him on IR. That's what I said. But yeah, Zane Gonzalez adding to the place kicker market. I don't know if there is a market for place kickers right now, but he's out there now. Also being released, Washington football team officially now releasing quarterback Alex Smith. $14.9 million in cap space cleared, big number there. And he'll have a chance to find his new team before free agency starts, which I like.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Was it on Monday when we were when the news kind of broke that he was going to be released? But I definitely think he needs to go to a team expecting to be the backup / mentor to a young quarterback.
Please go to Philadelphia, Alex. That'd be greatly appreciated. The only issue with him going to Philadelphia is that he doesn't fit the scheme.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he needs I think Jalen Hurts needs somebody that has more of his kind of skill set / play style. I know you wouldn't want this to happen, but somebody like Cam Newton would probably fit good as the backup there in Philly.
That's not who I was thinking of. I mean, that does work, but I was thinking of RG3.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the restructure portion of the NFL news here. So the Texans, I think Russ mentioned this last Friday that he thought David Johnson could possibly be on his way out of Houston, but he's gonna stick this year. Restructured his deal. Was originally scheduled to make 7.95 million with 2.1 guaranteed, and now reduced to 6 million with 4.25 guaranteed. So he makes more money guaranteed, makes less overall. But yeah, David Johnson will be sticking in Houston this year.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Russ had mentioned about he thought that David Johnson would be cut. But yeah, this is still kind of on the same realm as that. I mean, they're just trying to free up some space, but they're keeping him. So
yeah. Another restructure here. The Saints, like I said, have a lot of work to do, but they restructured defensive tackle David Onyemata's contract. That created 4.3 million in cap space. Also did the same with kicker Will Lutz's contract. Not as much though. Obviously, it's a special teams player, so 1.74 million for the Will Lutz restructure there. So in total, between those two, 6.04 million in cap space. Steelers finally got Big Ben's contract figured out. They agreed to a new deal for 2021. They added 4 years, so essentially it's a 4-year extension, or 5-year extension, I should say. 12.925 million in base or in signing bonus. He will make 1.075 million in base salary. Like I said, 4 voidable years at the end, so his contract will automatically void at the end of the 21 season. Salary reduced from 19 to 14 million, which lowered his total cap hit by 15 million. So massive savings for the Steelers there.
Yeah, that is impressive work by them, I think. Because I didn't think that they were going to be able to figure out how to pay him what he still wanted, but still get under the cap and all that. But they figured out a good contract, and I mean, you said it was the 4-year extension and stuff, but I still think that this is his last year coming up.
Yeah, it's 4 avoidable years for cap purposes. For those who don't know how the cap works, you can add voidable years that spreads the signing bonus over a max of 5 years. So essentially, they're spreading Ben Roethlisberger's signing bonus over 5 years. I don't know the math right now. I'd do it on the calculator. But yeah, so it's 12.925 million over the 5 years length of his deal. So 2.58 million. So really, the only additions. So you take 2.585 plus Ben's $1.075 million base. That's 3.66 million. And then if they said his cap number was reduced by 15 million, you really just take, the 41, I don't know what the actual decimals were, but 3.66. So you take 41 minus 15, and then minus 3.66. So the previous restructures from Big Ben's deals before have caused him to hit the Steelers with $22.34 million in cap, a cap number this year. So plus his 3.66. He's going to hit the Steelers for about 26, which is definitely a lot better for the Steelers cap purposes this year. So yeah, that was a long explanation. I know. But yeah, I was kind of trying to explain how the voidable years and signing bonuses work, because I kind of just figured that out like this year. So always learning. Eagles also, like I said, have work to do with their cap, restructuring a couple deals. Corner Darius Slay's contract. They created $9.14 million in cap space, massive savings there for the Eagles. As well as they agreed to terms on a new deal for center Jason Kelce. There were rumors that he was going to retire. Not going to do that. He'll come back for another year. $12 million max on his new deal. $9 million fully guaranteed for Jason Kelce there.
I mean, he's, I think, still one of the better centers in the league. So I think he definitely deserves that. And he was definitely the best offensive lineman for the Eagles, I think, this past season when they had a lot of issues. So it's good for them to anchor somebody like that down for another year.
Yep. Only entering his 11th year. Lions also doing some work here. They restructured linebacker Jamie Collins's deal. He gets $9 million in total cash. He originally had an $11.3 million in cap for a cap hit. That is going to be reduced. They didn't give the official number of what the reduction will be, what it is going to be now. So, but yeah, Lions creating some room there. That's all the restructures. We had one visit of note this week. Former Panthers punter Michael Pilardi, he visited with the Bills. He's coming off a torn ACL that happened last offseason when he was playing basketball with his son, actually. That's what I saw. That's how it happened. And the Panthers they already had a new punter. So, yeah, he visited the Bills, though.
I mean, your legs are important no matter what position you play, but obviously for a punter, the leg is the most important part of your body. So a torn ACL is a big deal, I think, for a punter. So it'll be interesting to see if he does get another job, whether it be with the Bills or with another team, if he can play back to the strength that he had before the injury.
Yeah, he was pretty good with the Panthers before he got hurt. And I'm not sure. Two things. I'm not sure if he's right or left-footed. I'm pretty sure he's right-footed. And second thing, I don't know if it's his plant leg or his kicking leg that was the injured leg. So plant leg, I think, would be more serious than kicking leg, but all right, some signings here. The Vikings, they signed defensive end Stephen Weatherly. That's where he started his career. Had a cup of tea with the Panthers this past year. Didn't work out there, so he is back in Minnesota to help their kind of reloaded defense that they're trying to do on the fly. Also getting signed, I think probably the biggest name other than JJ Watt to get signed in free agency. The Lions, they got a receiver. Tyrell Williams is signed in Detroit. 1 year, $6.2 million. Pretty good deal for him, I believe, to get 6.2 out of the Lions.
Yeah, that's a very interesting signing. I mean, I know that they probably weren't going to re-sign Galladay anyway. But there's
they will. They'll franchise tag him.
there's a lot better receivers out there than Tyrell Williams, I think. So it's interesting to see him get taken off the board so early. I know, like you said, it was the pre-free agency thing, but still.
Well, I think the Lions, since they're losing their top three, technically, their top three receivers are set to be free agents, and they're not going to bring back Marvin Jones. So, I think that Tyrell Williams is pretty good number two, especially when he was in his Chargers days. His Chargers days were pretty good. He was hampered by injuries in Las Vegas. So I think that's what kind of hurt him there. But I don't know. I still think he's a pretty good player. And 6.2 million is, I don't know. I thought that was a good deal for him.
Mm-hmm.
One extension that we had this week, literally today, the Bills, they locked up safety Micah Hyde for another 2 years, $19.25 million there for him. And he is now going to be signed through 2023 in Buffalo. They keep their secondary together. Him, Jordan Poyer, and Tre'Davious White all signed for the foreseeable future. So yeah, great job by Brandon Beane in the front office in Buffalo.
Yeah, I as a Jets fan, I hate that, but as a football fan, it was a great move because that secondary is a very good secondary. It's definitely I'd say even in the top quarter of the league. So top 8 in the league, I think.
Yeah, and the crazy thing, which I didn't even realize, I think it was Kim Jones, I could be wrong, that tweeted it out. I think it was 2017 when they drafted Tre'Davious White. That same offseason was the time that they signed both Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. So they literally got 3 of their 4 secondary starters in one offseason. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Again, trying to find tweets is something that I'm not very good at.
You should always screenshot something when you say it.
Well, I don't think about it at the time. That's the issue. I screenshot stuff that I'm going to write down and put in the script, not stuff that I think about afterwards. Here we go. Yeah, Kim Jones. I was right. I knew it was her. She's the Jets Giants reporter.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Brandon Beane. Maybe it wasn't her. Nope, it wasn't that. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, that was the kind of gist of the story, was that they got all 3 of those guys in one off season. And I believe that was Brandon Beane's first off season that they got all of those guys there. And yeah, not seeing it. So I have no idea. But anyways, like I said, good job by Brandon Beane there in Buffalo. Him and Sean McDermott have built quite the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as franchise tags go, The Panthers expected to franchise offensive tackle Taylor Moton in the coming days. We are now, it's March 5th. So we are now 4 days from the franchise tag deadline, March 9th. So yeah, Panthers expected to franchise right tackle Taylor Moton. One guy that the first guy to get franchised this offseason, Broncos. They franchise tagged safety Justin Simmons for the second year, I believe. I can't remember if he got franchise tag last year. But $13.7 million is the number for Justin Simmons franchise tag. Pretty good chunk of change for him. So,
yeah. Like just on the subject of franchise tags, I know the Jets have been closely monitored with the whole Marcus May situation. But the apparently when news was coming out that they were thinking about doing that, May's agent then tweeted out and was ripping into the Jets saying that they don't take care of their best players and stuff. So, yeah, that it's a very interesting storyline to watch. I mean, I think that everything's fine. I think it was just the agent trying to egg on the Jets and stuff, but kind of like you, I'm kind of trying to scroll through here while I'm talking, but yeah, he I mean, I haven't seen or read anything about Marcus May saying anything about the situation, but yeah, I definitely think that they're going to end up franchising him. So we'll see in the next couple days, but whether or not there's a long-term deal after that is another story.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'm still trying to find this Micah Hyde thing or not. I guess not. I don't know. But yeah, that is all. That's all the news we have as far as I know.
Wait, did I save it? The whole Von Miller thing. Did we talk about that?
No, I didn't.
Because I got a notification right before the show saying that the whole thing with Von Miller, no charges will be brought against him. So seems like he's clear.
Yeah, he's good. I didn't really know. I didn't have too much knowledge about what all the stuff happened that it was. So that's why I didn't say anything about it. But yeah, and that was the tweet there that Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and Tre'Davious White all gotten in the same offseason in 2017, as well as Deion Dawkins and a couple other guys. Micah Hyde said in his post press release interview. But yeah, let's get into the fun part. I don't know. It was kind of fun, NFL news. A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I think this is the most news we've had in a while. I mean, we're already an hour into the show and we haven't even gotten to the games yet.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of negative news in our segments in the last couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to and hoping for some positive news segments in the next couple months.
Oh man, it's coming fast and furious. We're now 12 days to free agency, so things are going to start happening. And let's pray that there's actually news on the Monday shows, because there hasn't been that much recently. So I'm sure there will be though this week. Weekend seems to be a place where stuff happens. But anyways, game previews FCS weekend. Here we have one game tonight. It is number 13 Albany at number 14 New Hampshire. The Wildcats 2.5-point favorites over the Greyhounds. Or Great Danes, not Greyhounds, Great Danes. And yeah, both teams are playing their first game of the season here. Not sure. Don't have too much knowledge on either school. But I guess I'm going to go with the favorite, New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, I've said my piece about ranked teams without playing a game and all that in the past, and this is one of them. They're two head-to-head ranked teams that haven't played yet this season, but I will say, because it's a ranked matchup and it's a one spot ranked matchup, I think this will be, similar to what game was it on last week's show, on Monday's show? That was the 17 versus 18. Who was that again?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either, but it ended up being one of the best games of the week. So I'm looking at this one, because they're both ranked and because they're so similarly ranked, I expect this one to be a good game.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, we can't watch it because it's not attached to a network. But this is the Colonial Athletic Conference or Athletic Association, the CAA, the conference that James Madison plays in. Over-under is 44 for this one, and it is at 7 o'clock tonight. Again, not being able to watch it. Not very many games. Actually, I shouldn't say that. There actually is quite a bit of games that are on ESPN Plus. But again, ESPN, please just get the. I know it's March Madness. Please just get like one game. There's one game on ESPN every week. Just that's all I want. So I can actually watch it on TV and not my computer. All right, let's go to tomorrow's matchups here. Again, we only do ranked teams playing. So number 5, Villanova starting their season against Stony Brook in Stony Brook. Nova 9.5-point favorites. I think they're going to win by more, personally, knowing what Villanova has. Mm-hmm. That's not just, they're not just a basketball school, people. They do have a football team. It's a pretty good one too. But yeah, I think they're going to cover. Mm-hmm. Maybe not easily, but I think it's 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Villanova. I don't know. I never really have been. But yeah, this matchup, Stony Brook is an okay school, but they're nothing compared to Villanova. So I agree with you being like at least 2 touchdowns.
I was gonna say, Chris, this game, comes right into your area up there.
I was gonna say, it's probably the most local game that we're gonna have on this slate of games here. But hey, neither one's a New Jersey school, so.
Well, I don't know what Monmouth is doing. They don't play. I don't know when the hell Monmouth plays, but they don't play for a while, I think. I'd have to actually do some like digging in order to find when Monmouth. I don't even know what conference Monmouth's in.
Hey, beat me. I don't know.
Come on, Chris. You should know this.
Hey, Monmouth is down the shore. They're in South Jersey, so I don't really know much about them.
Well, what schools are in North Jersey, Chris? That are Division I football. Oh, Monmouth is in the Big South. That makes sense, right? The Big South. They're in your favorite team's conference, Chris. You should know that.
Who?
Campbell.
Oh.
The Camels. They're not playing this spring though, unfortunately.
Yeah, they had a couple good games in the fall season, so taking the spring off now.
Yeah, Monmouth has a 4-game schedule starting next weekend, March 13th. Only 4 games for Monmouth there. But anyways, Nova, like I said, 9.5 points here. I think they'll cover that. 54.5 is the over under. 53.5 actually it changed to. So that is that. Also not on ESPN Plus, but it will be at noon tomorrow. The first game that actually is on ESPN Plus that we will have, number 11, Southern Illinois taking on Youngstown State. The Salukis, they're coming off a massive win, blowing out number 1 North Dakota State last week.
Mm-hmm.
And that vaulted them all from no ranking to number 11. So again, I think Youngstown State is underrated. They're not great. I'll say that. But I think they fight. They try. They try really hard.
Yeah, they even though they're 0-2, they've had some pretty good games against 2 pretty good opponents. So
yeah, they're opening 2 games were probably as tough as you could get against North Dakota State and Northern Iowa. So.
Yeah. And they held their own for the most part in those 2 games, or at least played as good as you probably could have in those 2 games. But yeah, I think that the trend continues here for both of these teams. I think Southern Illinois wins, and I think they cover the spread. But I don't think that Youngstown makes it easy, though. Yeah.
25 points given up to North Dakota State, 21 in a shutout loss, 21-0 last week against Northern Iowa. But yeah, I agree. I think SIU will cover. And I believe Southern Illinois is actually in one of my parlays. I do have 2 this week. So, yes, Southern Illinois money line. So, yeah, all I need is the Salukis to win. I don't know how much it is by. So.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're getting to the spread either. But
the over-under for this one, 43.5. No.
Not at all.
12 o'clock, ESPN Plus. Next one here, Maine at number 25, Delaware. I believe they're the Black Bears. I know they're a bear. I don't know what kind of bear. I just don't know what kind of bear they are. But against the Blue Hens, I know Delaware's the Blue Hens. But yeah, both playing. They're opening their spring season here as well. They're in the CAA as well. James Madison. I don't know why James Madison was the only team that opened up 2 weeks ago, and all the other teams didn't really, except for Elon. Elon's the only other team that has 2 games played so far, but the rest
are the Black Bears, by the way.
Okay, I thought I knew it, but just want to check and make sure get everything right on this show. But yeah, Delaware's sort of iffy. I thought Maine was always kind of good, but again, I have no idea. So we'll see how this one shakes out. Delaware 2.5. So yeah, Blue Hens. But I'm picking Maine though. I'm going with that. Even without any knowledge, I'm going with Maine. Over under is 47.5, kind of high. Not gonna touch it.
I wouldn't.
Noon kickoff as well in this one. Let's go to the only 1 o'clock game we have here. Samford at number 17, Furman. Furman coming off a 1-point loss to VMI, of all teams. But yeah, Furman, 10 points I thought was kind of a lot against Samford, but, Samford lost to East Tennessee. So that's an issue there. And then they blew out West Carolina, West Carolina's absolutely terrible. But Samford did put up 20 more points on West Carolina than Furman did, but Furman also let up 20 points less than Samford did. So they beat West Carolina by the same score, 35-7, essentially. It was just 55-27 for Samford. So yeah, I don't know if Furman covers the 10. I thought they were a lock last week against VMI, and they stunk it up. So,
was the game at Furman though?
No, it was.
So that could have played a factor. I think that now that they're home for this week, I think. I mean, they didn't play that well last week, but I think being at home might be a good advantage for them.
Well, I know one thing. They better have a new kicker this week so they can actually have the game tied instead of lose by 1 point from a missed extra point. Just saying. And I don't have this one in my parlays. So let's see. Over under is 54.5. I don't like that.
No.
I think Furman's defense will play a large role in this one, considering they've only given up 21 points in 2 games. So, I think their defense will play pretty well here. 1 o'clock ESPN Plus. Next one here, number 1 team in the country, the new number 1 this week, James Madison heading to Elon, 21.5 for the Dukes. And personally, I think they would cover. But Chris, I tripled down on the Dukes here. For the 3rd straight week in a row, I have the over for James Madison's game in a parlay. They've let me down the last 2 weeks, but the over/under is below 50 this week, which I like because they've gotten just over 50. They just didn't get to the 50 numbers that I needed the last couple of weeks. But it's set at 47.5, which I like. I got it when it was at 47, and I also bought a point, so I got it down to 46, which I think they can cover by themselves against Elon. But Elon's also the best school they've played.
Yeah.
I think Elon should score some.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This one I think is kind of tough for me because the over/under is low. So I think that'll hit, but I'm not sure about the 21.5.
Yeah, I don't know. This is JMU's first road game this year. Elon's coming off a trouncing by Gardner-Webb, so I think James Madison wants to come out and prove that they are the number 1 team in the country after their, horrible first half against Robert Morris last week. Obviously, they shut him out in the second half, but still, I think they would like to blow Elon out. This one is at 1:30. Again, I have no idea why James Madison is not on ESPN. I couldn't tell you, but I will be listening again. I feel like I'm going to be listening to James Madison every single week of the spring season.
Yeah, they're not even on a channel to watch, right? So
no, they're probably on a local channel in Virginia.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, James Madison does have their own. They have their own video. I think it's the conference's video, the CAA. But they're not broadcasting football games right now, so. And you can't find streams anywhere. Streams of FCS games do not exist. I've tried. Unless it's their own, camera crew, you're not going to find it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one here. The former number 1 team, number 6 North Dakota State at Missouri State. I don't like 19.5. They didn't cover 16.5 last week against Southern Illinois. So, I mean, Missouri State isn't as good, but again, it's a conference game.
Yeah.
And it's an away game. And I don't have any trust in Zeb Nolan right now.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I don't think they hit the 19.5, but I do think they get back in the win column. I don't think they're going to get upset like they did last week. And like you said, Missouri State is a lesser opponent than they faced last week. As you can see, they're 1-3 already. So
that was from fall play.
No, but
plus 1 game.
Even so, though, I still think that North Dakota has what it takes to beat them by maybe 14, but I don't think they're going to get to 19.
Yeah, Missouri State's 3 games in the fall. For one, their first game, they got annihilated by Oklahoma, 48-0. And then they lost. They played 2 games against Central Arkansas, home and away series, losing 27-20 and 33-24. So those were their 3 losses. They just beat Western Illinois last week, which is not saying anything. Western Illinois is absolutely terrible. So yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, I have no confidence in Zeb Nolan. The North Dakota State defense is what I do have confidence in. So if they can keep it low, I think they have a chance to win. But they need help from their offense. So the over-under is 45, and it's actually down to 18.5 for North Dakota State now, down 1 point there. 45, though, over-under. I'm not sure. That over-under would have hit last week against Southern Illinois because Southern Illinois put up 38. But, yeah, I don't know if 45 hits in this one. So
I don't know. Probably not.
This one's 3:00 on ESPN Plus. I want to say my favorite team, but I don't know. James Madison is close too. So, but one of my favorite teams here, Western Illinois at number 8, South Dakota State. South Dakota State getting 26. Big number here, but like I said, Western Illinois is terrible. And Chris, just by chance, do you know what Western Illinois' mascot is?
I mean, I'd assume some sort of bulldog, but
no, it's not.
It's not.
As far as I saw, anyways, they are called the Leathernecks. But yeah, that's just from a couple pictures I saw, anyways. I do have South Dakota State. I got in early on South Dakota State this week, so I got it at a really good number. Plus, again, I bought a point, so I got South Dakota State at 20.5. They have to win by 3 touchdowns. That's it. And I think they can do that. Mark Gronowski should have a game, as well as the Yankee brothers, Jackson and Jaden. South Dakota State defense isn't bad either. So, yeah, I'm easily rolling with South Dakota State here, having a bounce-back game after their loss to North Dakota last week. The over-under is 47. South Dakota State covers it by themselves. 49 to something. Do you concur, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
This one also 3:00 on ESPN Plus. Let's go to a team that's playing its first game here. UC Davis at number 19 Idaho. The Vandals shocked people last week. At least they did me. Beating Eastern Washington. Did not think that they were going to do that. It was only by a touchdown. I have no knowledge of UC Davis. I really don't like their logo. So I would roll with Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they only beat Eastern Washington by 7. Granted, Eastern Washington is a top 25 team, so any win against top 25 team is good, regardless of the amount. But yeah, 3.5 here for Idaho, and the over/under is at 55. Big a number there.
Mm-hmm.
Not touching it.
Nope. But yeah, you already said it. But what is that logo?
I have no idea.
Like,
it's literally the Bears C with an A in the middle.
Yeah, I know. So like, what is the A? Like, it's UC Davis. Like,
I think it's supposed to be like California because they're California Davis.
Yeah, well, still.
I don't know. I'd have to look at UC Irvine's to see if it's different. But yeah, this one is at 3:00. Another team playing its first, or no, never mind. I thought they were playing their first game whenever I was going through it. But Northern Arizona heading to number 22, Eastern Washington. Like I just said, Eastern Washington losing to Idaho last week. NAU beating Southern Utah by 1 point 2 weeks ago. Actually, no, it was last week. It feels like February 27th was not last week.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
But yeah, Northern Arizona with the win over Southern Utah last week. And the Eagles are favored here, 14.5. I don't know. I mean, like I said, they only scored 21 against Idaho last week. So
yeah, and they were the favorite in that one too, right?
Oh yeah, they were the ranked team. So
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I trust Eastern Washington here. I mean, I have no idea anything about Northern Arizona. Because we didn't cover them last week, did we? I don't.
No, because they were playing unranked Southern Utah.
Yeah, so this is the first time actually even hearing of them. I do kind of like their logo though, because it looks like the head of an axe surrounding the words. But yeah.
I didn't really understand their mascot, lumberjacks. I didn't know that there was that many lumberjacks in Arizona.
Hey, there's got to be somebody out there chopping down all the cactuses.
But yeah. Anyways, Eagles, I think, get the win. Probably don't cover though. I don't think the 14.5.
Yeah, and I definitely don't like the line either.
The over/under.
Over-under. I keep calling it a line.
Yeah, the line is 14.5, Chris.
I keep meaning to say over/under. I don't know why.
64 over/under here. That's the thing, though. Eastern Washington, theoretically, is a high-flying spread offense. As far as my knowledge of Eastern Washington goes.
Mm-hmm.
They have the red turf, I believe, at Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Cup played there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what NAU's offense looks like. Like I said, they scored 34 last week, so who knows? But yeah, 64, pretty high.
I mean, if I'm reading correctly, they're the highest over/under of all the games we're covering this week. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it all depends on how these teams play. Like, if they both can play up to their potential, then yeah, I think they get to 64. But after the way that Eastern Washington played last week, I don't know.
I forgot to mention last game, just keeping up with my parlays that I have in for this weekend. I do have Idaho money line in one of my parlays as well. So Idaho over UC Davis there. I swear, if Idaho lets me down after I said they sucked and then they won, and now I'm praising them by putting them in my parlay, and now they're going to lose. So, anyways, other games though that I did have in my parlay that we're not going to cover. Incarnate Word, I have them 11.5. They are playing Lamar. Incarnate Word is 16.5 point favorites right now. Again, I got in pretty early on a lot of these spreads, so 11.5 I think is a really good number against Lamar, who just got blitzed by Nicholls State 55-0 last week. And then also two other games that we aren't going to cover. I have money line for Chattanooga over where's their game? The Citadel. Citadel is actually a 7-point favorite. Citadel is 0-5. They just got destroyed by Mercer last week, 42-28. So again, I don't know how Citadel, or no, it's not Citadel by 7. Never mind. I was reading it wrong. It says UTC. They both have the same TC. So, but it's Tennessee, Chattanooga. So Chattanooga, yes, Chattanooga is favored by 7 over the Citadel. I have Chattanooga money line in my parlay there. Also, this is the last one I have that we're not going to cover. Dixie State, I have them money line in my parlay. Now, Dixie State, who are they playing, do you ask? One, New Mexico State, who got annihilated by Tarleton State 43-17. Guess who Tarleton State lost to last week? Dixie State, 26-14. So, again, I'm going kind of with trends here, but I think New Mexico State. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to jinx myself. New Mexico State, you Aggies. I'm not going to say you suck. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say it. But Dixie State, go win it. Anyways, let's move on. We spent enough time on my parlays here. I'll talk about the rest of them that we will talk about here. This one is also in my parlay here. Number 15, Illinois State at number 3, Northern Iowa. No, UNI getting 8. Don't believe it has changed. If I can actually find the game, there it is. Yeah, hasn't changed. It's still 8 points here. I like Northern Iowa. I have them money line in my parlay here. So Illinois State, they're coming off a loss to South Dakota, 27-20. North Dakota just beat them. So I don't have too much confidence in Illinois State. I do in Northern Iowa, though. I mean, they lost to North Dakota, or not North Dakota. They lost to South Dakota State, who we all know that I love. But yeah, I think they're a very good team. They haven't scored a lot. That's probably the only issue that I see with them. They're scoring 20.5 points per game, scoring 20 and 21 in their two games. So I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, I think I like Northern Iowa. I think they're the better team overall.
Yeah, I mean, just going based on rankings alone here, they're the 3 compared to the 15. So they're obviously supposed to win this one, but I mean, like you said, they don't score a lot, but I'm kind of surprised that it's only an 8-point spread.
Yeah. I mean, Illinois State originally, before they lost to South Dakota last week, they were number 7.
Hmm.
So, and Northern Iowa was number 5, jumped to number 3 this week. So, but yeah. The over-under is very, very low. Like I said, Northern Iowa doesn't score a lot. So, who knows, but it's 37. But last week we saw a 39.5 hit the under. So it is possible, people. It is possible. But anyways, let's see. The 5 o'clock ESPN Plus for that one. Another one I have in my parlay here, number 7, Nicholls State heading to Northwestern State. I have Nicholls as minus 21.5. And yeah, they are absolutely ridiculous so far this season. What did we say they were averaging here? 71 points per game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 87 and 55 in their 2 games. Just absolutely ridiculous. And like I said,
mean, that first game though, I don't know if they're ever going to score that many again.
It was against a Division II opponent, but then they come back and shut out Lamar 55-0. They're averaging, their defense is giving up 1.5 points per game. So I think beating a team by 69.5 points per game is pretty good.
Now, do you think Northwestern State is better than Lamar?
I have no idea.
Because it'll be interesting to see if they can score as good as they've been scoring.
I highly doubt Northwestern State is better than Lamar. Fortunately, I kind of wish we would have been able to see that game, because that game was supposed to be a couple weeks ago. Northwestern State at Lamar. Was supposed to be played on February 20th, and it got postponed. So unfortunately, we don't have that benchmark to see which team won that game. But I think Northwestern State is a little bit better than Lamar, but not by very much. I mean, from my historical knowledge of Northwestern State, they are not good. And Nicholls State has been rolling. So this is their first road game this year. So do have to take that into account a little bit. But again, I don't think Nicholls State has any problems. The only thing they can't do is look ahead to next week. They have to play Sam Houston State next week at Sam Houston State. So that would be the only thing I could see that they would have an issue with. But anyways, like I said, I have them as a minus 21.5. The over-under for this game is at 58. Nicholls, can they get it by themselves again?
I mean, wait, what did they score last week? 55?
55, yeah.
So they didn't get it by themselves last week.
Well, I'd have to go and check what the over.
No, but I mean, like, they didn't get 58 themselves last week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would mean that they'd have to score another field goal in this one, which I think they could do. I mean, they've obviously shown in the first 2 games.
That's the push. That's the push, though.
Yeah. So they'd have to score another touchdown. Which, what's one more touchdown?
If they would have scored 58 last week, though, they would have hit the over. Because remember, that was a push. That one 55, and they scored 55-0. So, yeah, I would again put this game as a lot to a little. Just don't even put the score up. Nicholls State a lot, Northwestern State a little. But anyways, 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Last game we have for tomorrow, McNeese State at number 23, Southeastern Louisiana. The Lions are getting 10.5 here. Southeastern coming off a loss to Sam Houston. McNeese, they are coming off a blowout loss to Incarnate Word. And, I think that game showed a lot about what McNeese State is, because they only beat Tarleton State by 3 in their first game. And getting blown out by Incarnate Word, I think, showed what kind of team McNeese is this year. And Southeastern Louisiana played well against Sam Houston, so I think they will get the win in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said, pretty much.
The over-under for this one, again, pretty high, 61.5. How are we feeling about that?
I hate these high over-unders in this spring football season. I mean, just based on their performances so far, I don't think that they get anywhere near 60.5 or 61.5, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all depends on McNeese, because 61.5 would have gotten way over last week for Southeastern Louisiana's game, having a total of 81 points between them and Sam Houston last week. So this one is also 7 o'clock ESPN Plus. Let's go to Sunday's games. There's a couple ranked teams here. Number 16, Jacksonville State, heading to Tennessee State. The Gamecocks getting 19. I think they cover. Tennessee State, not good at all. Their one game, losing to Austin Peay 27-20 last weekend. And Jacksonville State, they beat Tennessee Tech 27-10, who I thought was okay, considering they blew out Austin Peay. But this game was actually postponed. This one was supposed to be played 2 weeks ago, and didn't get played. So,
this Jacksonville State team so far this season has shown that they're pretty good. I mean, I know they played a couple games in the fall, but they've been one of the better teams so far this spring. And I definitely think that Jacksonville State will cover, especially being that they're playing against what I would consider to be like an LSU knockoff team. They their logo literally looks like you would like ordering LSU stuff off of Wish, and that's what came.
Yeah, I was when I first saw their logo, I was like, man, they used a real tiger instead of like the clip art tiger that a lot of other teams use. But yeah, Jacksonville State's a really good team here, and they're gonna continue to win there with their dynamic rushing duo, Josh Samuel and Uriah West. I was blanking on West's name there, but yeah, Zion Webb, also the quarterback, pretty good. The over-under for this one's 56. Jacksonville could get that by themselves if they wanted to, but I don't think they will. I take the under 56 in this one.
Yeah.
And I don't have any. I don't have any of the Sunday games in my parlays. So this one is 3 o'clock ESPN Plus on Sunday. The other game we have on Sunday here, Murray State at number 16, Southeast Missouri State. SEMO getting 13. And I think they will cover. Murray State played in a very low scoring game against Tennessee Martin last week, 14-10, the win there for the Racers of Murray State. 47-7 win by SEMO against Eastern Illinois last week, also losing to Southern Illinois in week 1 by 3, which I think shows a lot about Southeast Missouri State, considering what Southern Illinois has done recently, only losing by 3 a couple of weeks ago. Or no, that was in the fall. Never mind. But still, whether it's in the fall or now, it's still the same school. But anyway, this game was also another one that was postponed 2 weeks ago. Now getting this week. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Over under for this game, 48.5. I like the under, just there. Let's go with 45. 35 to 10. 35-10 by Southeast Missouri.
Yeah.
And this one also at 3 p.m. on ESPN Plus. That is all the games we have. I know we're getting into longer shows now, man. I like it. Yeah. I kind of don't, but I kind of do.
Hey, I mean, this week we had a lot of news, and in the coming weeks we're gonna have a lot of news still because of free agency and all that. So,
yeah, we actually had, I think it was three less games. So, so much more news. And actually, before we get into our edge rusher rankings, there was one other thing that popped up on the Twitter feed here. The Raiders, we talked about them possibly shopping Trent Brown. They are moving on from one other lineman, though, guard Richie Incognito being released. That is for cap reasons. He is 100% healthy, Ian Rappaport says, and looks forward to continuing his career, whether it's there or elsewhere. I guess he had a high salary cap or a high salary, so that's why he got released. So he could possibly be back in Vegas at a reduced price.
It'll be interesting to see with him. I mean, it seems like he kind of got over the whole thing that happened to him when he was in Buffalo, I believe, with the whole bullying thing that happened. But
Miami. Yeah, he was in Miami.
Oh, it was Miami. Oh, yeah, right. Then he went to Buffalo afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like he's gotten over that whole thing. So as long as that's not baggage that he has to carry with him, I think he'll be good on any team.
Hey, man, again, if he wants to take a veteran minimum contract, Philadelphia or Pittsburgh would be happy to have you, Richie. Especially Pittsburgh. They're losing a lot of their lines. So, yeah. All right, let's get into our 2021 NFL Draft Edge Rusher rankings. I believe Rob KQ will be on here shortly to discuss along with us. I will go first, as I do on Fridays. And I'm starting off in Miami. Gregory Rousseau, he opted out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Had a fantastic season in 2019. I'm blanking on the amount of sacks. I think it was 15 and a half. It was somewhere in that neighborhood, which is really good in a 12-game season. So yeah, Gregory Rousseau, I think, has all the traits.
I just looked at it here. Apparently, it's 16. So whatever 16. The half of sack, they raised it to a full sack.
So yeah, 16, even better. But yeah, I think he has all the traits to be a number one edge rusher in the league. I think edge rusher is a tough position to come in and play well right away. I don't know if that's right or not, but in my mind, I think it is just to figure out how to beat NFL level tackles consistently. But yeah, I think he's going to be very good for whoever drafts in there. Number 2, my guy, Azeez Ojulari in Georgia here, had a, you know, what a better way to end your career than a 3-sack performance in a New Year's Six bowl against the highest ranked Group of 5 team in Cincinnati. Wait for Rob's audio to get hooked up here. Rob KQ, what's up, my man? Can he get his audio hooked up? There it is.
What's up?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm pretty good. It's good to see you.
You too, man.
Got my boy Gregory at number 1. That's what I like to see.
Yeah. I was just talking. I had talked about Greg, and then I was just on Azeez here. So Azeez Ojulari, man, I love him from UGA. I was just talking about his 3-sack performance in the bowl game against Cincinnati there. Also had the safety in that game as well. So I think he was fantastic. I think he's going to be a 3-4 outside linebacker for whoever drafts him in the first round.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, he runs a 4.65, which is like pretty fast for his size and everything. He'll definitely be a good add. I think it'll be a great first rounder for sure.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips, another Miami guy. I was really thinking about putting 3 Miami guys on my top 5. I was very close. Quincy Roche also there as well, who broke out this year. But Jalen Phillips, he really got helped by Gregory Rousseau not playing this year. He got to step up, like I said, along with Quincy Roche there at the U, and had himself quite a year for the Hurricanes there. And again, I think he's similar to Gregory Rousseau, just not as defined. I think he has some raw characteristics that he needs to work on and pass rush moves there. Kwity Paye at number 4 from Michigan. Interesting guy. Very heartfelt story. If you don't know his story, go look it up. I don't have time to say the whole thing, but they had a special on it on College Game Day this past fall. So go look up College Game Day Kwity Paye and you'll see it. But anyways, on the field, he is a pretty good edge rusher. Was for a very bad Wolverine defense this year. He's a guy, though, that I wasn't sure that he was an edge rusher when I first, took a glance at him, but he proved that he was. So 4-3 defensive end there for Kwity Paye, I think. And yeah, the number 5 here, Jason Oweh from Penn State. He was a guy that didn't get the production. His teammate Shaka Toney got most of the sacks. Oweh was a guy that was having a lot of pressures, didn't necessarily have the sack numbers there, but from what I hear from scouts in the NFL is that Oweh has the more or the better height, weight, speed characteristics there, as well as the better pass rush repertoire. And my sleeper, Joseph Osai from Texas, he's a guy that's just got a motor. I like his play, man. He's always around the ball and the quarterback in the backfield. So he's a guy that, again, Chris, I know I've gotten on you before for putting sleepers that are guys that will not go in the first 2 days. Osai will go in probably the 3rd round at the worst. But I didn't really like any other guys that were farther down the list on some of the rankings here. So. All right. Do we want to go to yours, Chris, or do we want Rob to say his?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I'll go. Yeah. So I've got the same as Rusty at number 1 with Gregory. He's been dominant all year, like I've said. He's the tallest out of all the edge rushers for the most part, and I just believe that he'll be the best addition out of any team. He's the youngest, and Ojulari, just being a Bulldog, I want him to go high, but I have him at number 3, and Kwity Paye actually going number 2. Paye, like Rusty said, he has a great story, great background from being born in like a refugee camp and everything. Aziz, he's been at UGA for a while. I'm glad he stayed with us as long as he did. He's I don't know, all around, he's my favorite player that's getting drafted. I think he should definitely be go towards the end of the first round, and he'll be a great addition to every team. I will say that out of all the athletes there, I don't know too much about him personally, but he definitely seems like a great kid. So
Do you have 4 and 5, Rob, or do you just have top 3?
Top 3. I just did top 3.
All right. Chris, let's go to yours here.
So mine might be a little bit more controversial. I know you, Rusty, when I texted you the list, you're like, "Are you sure that's who you want?" But I think 5 out of the 6 though are the same players as you, Rusty. It's just different order. But I have actually Kwity Paye there at number 1. And yeah, I have him at number 1. You said about his story and stuff, but I think that he's just the best overall pure player or edge rusher in this draft. Obviously, he had that incredible cone drill that he did. It was a sub 6.5, and he's over 260 pounds, so that is unheard of kind of numbers there for that drill. I wish we could show the video now, but can't do that right now. But yeah, I just think he has the pure strength and agility to get around and get through the opposing offensive line in the NFL. My number 2 is another one of your guys, Rusty, in Jason Owe. He is, if nothing else, he's just a step below Paye. I think he is also another one of the better pure pass rushers in all aspects of the game here coming into this draft. He's definitely got the size. He's 6'5" and 252. And he's pretty fast too. His 40 time, according to this, is 4.33, which is very good. So yeah, I think that even though he didn't record a sack in his previous season, but he's definitely he's a force to be reckoned with. So I could see him being kind of like I don't want to compare him to Leonard Williams, but I'm going to. He's going to be that type of player that gets through the line and disrupts the play, but doesn't get the sack to show on the record sheet.
I was gonna say Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, him too, yeah. All right, and then my number 3 was both your guys' number 1 in Gregory Rousseau. Like you said, he didn't play in 2020, but he had that 16 sack season in 2019, and if he can somehow, well, it is still to be seen whether that year off will help him or if he'll need to have a little time to get back into shape and whatnot. But I think that the fact he took the year off is why I have him at 3, because I think he's just as good as these first 2 guys that I talked about. Obviously, like I mentioned already, the 16 sacks in 2019.
And 50-something tackles, I believe.
Yeah. And I mean, he doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires. I know that's a term that we normally only use for running backs, but in his college career, he's only played 546 snaps, so that's not a lot at all. So he's still got a lot of juice in that tank. And then my number 4 is his teammate at Miami, in Jalen Phillips. Like you said, Rusty, we could probably put 3 guys on this list, but it's only a 5-player list, so I had to leave off one of them. But Jalen Phillips, he's one of the craziest looking guys in this class. He's one of the biggest physical specimens that there is in this class. And he's got all the tools that you need for an edge rusher in the NFL. He's got the size, the length, and the burst, and all that. And I mean, I know it doesn't mean much now, being that he's entering the NFL, but he was an all-world recruit when he signed with UCLA back in 2017. So just right there, you could tell what kind of pedigree he is and what kind of player he's expected to be. Yeah, I think his main concern though is injury related, but if he can stay healthy, he's definitely going to be at the top of the list of the edge rushers in this class. My number 5 is Carlos Basham Jr., I should say, from Wake Forest, and he's at number 5 because I think he needs probably the most work out of my top 5. But he took a dip in production over the last couple of years. But if he can get back to being consistently a disruptive force on the line, I think he can definitely become an important part to anybody's line. But his problem though is that he isn't very agile, which is something you really kind of need for an edge rusher. And he's very physical. So if he can get through the line by pure strength, then he'll be good. But that, I think, is his problem. And then I know my sleeper here is a guy that you guys are very high on. And I personally do believe he will be a good pass rusher in this league if he can beat these experienced NFL offensive linemen, because he's a little undersized for the position. He is 6'3" and 240, which is kind of skinny for a defensive end, or not defensive end, an edge rusher. So that's his main concern, that he will not be able to overpower the offensive line. But he is one of the better edge rushers when it comes to the finesse moves and the speed and all that. So, but that's why I put him as my sleeper, because I don't know if he'll be able to overcome the offensive lines in terms of the physical strength one-on-one.
Yeah, he's got a great first step, and I've also noticed how he's I noticed he's very patient with the run. I was watching some of his highlights, and overall, I think he'll be a great pickup for any NFL team. I think he's undervalued right now, but I hope he goes first round towards the end.
Yeah, I think
But
he's definitely going to be a first round pick. I think he's probably the number 1 3-4 outside linebacker in my book, anyways. I don't, like you said, Chris, defensive end, I don't think he would work in a 4-3. So I think his best option is to go to a 3-4 team, and Broncos might need a new edge rusher, considering Von Miller might be on the outs there. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. But next week, next Football Friday, off season, week 5, we'll be talking corners, talking Patrick Surtain, Caleb Farley. We will have off-ball linebackers, 4-3 outside linebackers, 3-4 inside linebackers on Monday's show. As always, don't forget to follow us on all our social media here on YouTube, as well as our Facebook page, and our other social media, Instagram and Twitter at FA Podcast on both of those. Follow us on Spotify, and please subscribe here on YouTube. Get our following on this medium up. That's the only word I can think about it. Increase our subscriber numbers here. And also check out our shop. Check out our shop on Teespring.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff on the shop there. We got pretty much anything and everything you could think of with our logo or the new St. Patrick's Day stuff that you put out. So
yeah, we do literally have everything on there. We got mugs, we got phone cases, t-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeves, blankets. We have face masks and neck gaiters. So whichever you prefer. But yeah, literally everything on there. And that link can be found on our Facebook page. All right. Great show, gentlemen. Thank you, Rob. We'll have to have you back in a couple of weeks when we kick off free agency. You can give us the agent's take.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'm on a business trip right now out of town with my location here. But yeah, that sounds great. I'll definitely do that.
All righty. Well,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Chris, I will see you on Monday.